Hi, I'm Rosie. I'm going to be talking about offshore drilling plans in contemporary society and how it is linked with historical narratives of our past. So, in recent news, President Trump has signed a new executive order as of January 2018, and the order will allow for offshore drilling off the coast of California, Oregon, Washington, and the area called the Outer Continental Shelf. So, to much surprise, California and most states across the United States, with a few exceptions, are not supporting this. This will be the first time that offshore drilling leasing will be made available in over 3 decades. So, my thesis for this essay is that if we look at the offshore drilling on a larger historical scale, we can see examples and events of environmental catastrophes that clearly show the implications of offshore drilling on the well-being of our oceans and the biomes that live within it. In my essay, I used the historical 1969 Summerlin oil spill, the 1994 Exxon Valdez tanker spill, and the more contemporary spill of the Deepwater Horizon in the Gulf of Mexico to sort of explain this narrative. With the evidence I supply, we can see the destructive implications of offshore drilling and what that means for the vitality of our coastlines. These catastrophes have pushed California to the forefront of the oil and environmental crisis and are the main reasons why California will continue to fight offshore drilling plans. So I give a couple of main points throughout my essay, and the first one is that the Summerlin oil spill of 1969 was catastrophic for California. It was an oil spill off the coast of California, and it spread nearly 100,000 barrels of oil across a 35-mile diameter. There was a lot of scientific evidence at that time that the spill was really devastating to the intertidal biomes within the ocean and on the Santa Barbara coast especially. And so with all this evidence and this making national news, President Nixon and other anti-oil activists worked to progress away from the offshore drilling industry. So Nixon created the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, which was really the nation's first framework to engage with protection, preservation, and collaboration over issues of the environment. So the second point I bring up is the history of Exxon Valdez, which is another terrible oil spill that seeped 11 million gallons of oil into the Alaskan waters. There's a lot of scientific evidence studying the otter populations over there, and it's not... it really has had a great effect on the vitality of the coastlines and the biomes that live there. So the combination of both these spills really got California to start becoming more aware of the implications of offshore drilling. So California created the California Sanctuary Act, which ceased all oil leasing plans across the California coastline, and that's been the case for the last 3 decades. My third point within this essay is talking about how the Gulf of Mexico spill in 2010, Deepwater Horizon, which leaked 2 million barrels of oil per day, was a catastrophic event. It is actually, scientists are picking up evidence that it is still leaking today and that there is still crude oil surfacing since the initial explosion in 2010. So with all this history in mind, we can understand the contemporary environmental risks of bringing back oil commerce to the shores of Western states. So President Trump just announced the National Outer Continental Shelf Oil and Gas Leasing Draft Program, which would be administered by his administration starting next year. The plan would open up 9 leases on the Atlantic coast, 12 leases on the Gulf of Mexico, and 7 sales on the Pacific coast. Yet again, California has strongly declared its position against it. In a CNN report, Jerry Brown stated, "For more than 30 years, our shared coastline has been protected from further federal drilling and will do whatever it takes to stop this reckless, short-sighted action." However, there are many people, companies, and groups of people that would like to go forth with oil exploration. But if we analyze this contemporary issue of offshore drilling proposals across the country, we can debunk the myth that this proposal is no longer an act of exploration. We are inevitably dooming ourselves to the historical narratives of our past. So if we understand the historical implications that offshore drilling has had on the environment, then we can understand what the future implications of it are. This is why California is fighting back and is why we are historically have been at the forefront of this issue. Someone needs to stand up for our coastline's livelihood, because our coastline, the biomes within it, and the organisms that are crucial to our livelihood cannot vote. Thank you.